मधुबन ज्ञान सरोवर जहाँ भी शांतिवन,
wherever we are, Madhuban Gyan
वातावरण
Sarovar,
ऐसा बन
Shantivan,
जाता है जहाँ भी बैठो,
the atmosphere is such that wherever you sit,
कितना अच्छा है।
it's such a beautiful atmosphere. Yesterday we were sitting in Om Shanti Bhavan.
परसों शांतिवन में बैठे थे।
The day before we were sitting in Shantivan.
तो वायुमंडल का प्रभाव पड़ता है, वायुमंडल बनता है, उसका प्रभाव पड़ता है।
The atmosphere is created and the influence of the atmosphere has an impact on everyone.
तो सबसे बड़ा पहले अपने सेफ्टी के लिए अच्छे वायुमंडल में रहना।
So first of all, for your own safety, it's important to remain in a good atmosphere. There's a great deal of safety in a good atmosphere.
फिर है इतना अच्छा बाबा का सर्वेश्वर सुपूत बच्चा, सुपूत सर्वेश्वर बच्चा, वो जो वायुमंडल अच्छा बना सकता है।
A serviceable, worthy child of Baba is one who's able to create that atmosphere wherever he goes. We become worthy
अच्छे वायुमंडल से,
due to a good atmosphere.
औरों को बनाने के निमित्त बनते हैं
And
वायुमंडल बनाने से।
and then we become instruments to create that same atmosphere for others. Learn this art of creating the atmosphere.
तो सदा चढ़ती कला, उड़ती कला।
And when you learn this art, then you will always experience the ascending stage in your efforts.
बड़ी कला अच्छी है ये।
It's a wonderful art.
बचपन से बाबा के बच्चे बने अच्छे वायुमंडल, बाबा बाबा बाबा।
We have become Baba's children from a young age because of a good atmosphere, an atmosphere which resonates the sound of Baba, Baba.
और फिर बड़े हुए तो सबको बाबा बाबा सिखलाना।
And then as we grew older,
सिखलाएंगे ऐसे बाबा बाबा कहो।
As we grew older, to teach others to say Baba Baba, we didn't do this through the mouth to say, well, say Baba Baba, but we did it through the atmosphere. It's a wonder of Baba that an atmosphere should be created in such a way that others feel and they themselves, the word Baba Baba emerges from their heart. They should look at our life and sing the song of the wonder of Baba. It can be seen
और हमारे जीवन में ईश्वर ने कितनी हमारे जीवन को,
it can be seen that the virtues we have are godly virtues. They're Baba's virtues. But Baba has filled us with those virtues, removed our sorrow and given us happiness. And so, what else will the heart say except ask Baba, what kind of a return can I give you now?
अच्छा श्रेष्ठ चलने की बाबा आपने राह दिखाई है।
Baba, you've shown me the way to lead my life in an elevated way. You're taking me on this journey with a great deal of comfort. What can I possibly give you in return?
तो बाबा ने कहा बच्चों से थोड़ी बाप फी मांगता है।
And so Baba said, well, the father's not going to ask for a fee from his children. It's the father that's the teacher, so he's not going to ask for a fee from his children, is he? Do you have to give any fee? It's actually free, isn't it? Your accommodation is free, your study is free, your books are free, you get free Murli. You get so many treasures, all free of charge. Yes, we've received everything free of charge, but you also experience a great deal of freedom.
चल के करो, चाहे सेवा करते करो या संगठन में बैठ के करो,
you can do as much effort as you want in whatever way you want, through personally, through the gathering and service. Nobody's going to stop you from making any effort. But pay attention that whatever I do, others will do the same and follow. This is the sweetest bondage, actually. I say this for my own progress. Sometimes there is the possibility of a little bit of carelessness coming in, but when I maintain the awareness that whatever I do, whatever actions I perform, others will follow, then this is what others will follow. If I get up late for class or I don't come to class, others will follow me. So this is a sweet bondage. And actually, however much you do, you receive the return of that. So do as much as you want, because you're doing it for yourself. Whatever Baba is making me move, however Baba is making me move, whatever Baba is making me do, continue to do that. The more you do, the more you accumulate. The more your treasures grow, the more strength and power you receive. You receive happiness and you receive strength. By doing it, you experience happiness, but when you develop that habit of doing it over a long period of time, you receive strength. So however much you do, you will receive the reward of that. And whatever we do, others will see us and do the same. If we make a mistake, then I will be the one that will experience the punishment. I may make a small mistake, but I will experience the punishment for it. If I do something good, then I will receive the fruit. Everything is in the hands of Karan Karavanhar. I'm not doing anything. Everything is in his hands, in the hands of Karan Karavanhar. If I do it, then maybe I may do something wrong. But if I have the awareness that it's Karan Karavanhar that's doing it, then I will always do that which is right. Just as a few days ago Baba said in the Murli, don't think that, follow the directions and consider that Shiv Baba is giving you these directions through this one. All you have to do is follow those directions and be obedient. Don't move along under the influence of your own sanskaras. Don't become weak on seeing the sanskaras of another or be influenced by anyone else's sanskaras. So Baba relates such beautiful things to us. I read yesterday's Murli again today. It was such a wonderful Murli. If you want to surrender, means to keep your aim in front of you, to follow Baba's directions and to remember the home. Baba's conditions are very good. Are you okay? Are you surrendering? Okay, don't forget the directions. Don't let go of your aim in front of you, and remember where you're going. Remember your original home, and remember the message that you have to give to everyone. This is what's needed to surrender. Sweet Baba creates these principles for us so that we're able to pay attention, to pay attention to ourselves, pay attention according to the time, and by keeping our future in front of us and by keeping the world in front of us, to pay full attention to all four things: the self, what I have to do according to the time, the future, as well as the world. It's only when the soul world becomes empty, that's when we're going to go up. All those souls that are staying up there, they need to come down. And it's when it becomes empty, that's when Baba's going to take us back. Just think about it. Ask yourself, how are you going to return home? In what state are you going to return home?
हमको घर जाना है.
We have to go home.
यहाँ से बाबा इतना पावन बना के
Baba's making
अच्छा
us so
श्रृंगार
pure
करके
and decorating us so beautifully here.
इतना श्रेष्ठ भविष्य आत्मा कैसी होंगी हम, वो भी अभी बाबा हमको बना के.
Baba's not only showing us but helping us to become that elevated soul in the future. Baba reminds us, oh child, we have to go home, we have to go home, we have to go home.
अब फ्री हो जाते हैं, पहले चढ़ती कला फिर उड़ती कला.
So we become free from everything down here. When we become free, then we're able to experience the ascending stage. Check yourself. Do I have the ascending stage, or am I stuck anywhere? Or is it that I'm stopping and starting, stopping and starting? It's as if somebody's gotten hold of me. I can't move forward, I can't go back, I can't move. So what kind of a stage am I experiencing? I never had this knowledge of this word of being stuck, but somebody once said to me, I'm stuck. And so I thought, oh, this is what it means to be stuck. So Baba has said today, you have to remain strict, very strict with your efforts. When you're strict with your efforts, if the teacher isn't strict, what is the student going to do?
उसको भी सिखा देने लग पड़ेंगे. तो अपने ऊपर स्ट्रिक्ट रहना.
So to remain strict with yourself.
बड़ा ध्यान रखना.
It's important to pay great attention.
श्वास सफला करना.
And then to use every breath in a worthwhile way.
किसी को भी बुद्धि में चिंतन में घुसाना नहीं है.
And to not let anyone enter your thoughts. Not to let anyone enter your thinking for any reason whatsoever.
तो अभी रूहानी बाप द्वारा रूहानी ड्रिल सीख रहे हो. अच्छा सुना, रूहानी बाप द्वारा रूहानी ड्रिल सीख रहे हो.
Om Shanti.
इसी ड्रिल से
Essence of the Murli, sweet children. You are now learning spiritual drill from the spiritual father. Through this drill, you will go to the land of liberation, the land of silence. Question is, the father inspires you children to make effort. But which aspect should you remain very strict about? Answer is, before the whole world is set on fire, so answer is, before the whole world is set on fire, you have to remain very strict about becoming ready by considering yourself to be a soul and staying in remembrance of the Father and claiming your full inheritance. You must not fail. When students fail, they repent a great deal because they feel that they have wasted their whole year. Some say, what does it matter if I haven't studied? However, you do have to remain very strict. The teacher should not have to say to you, too late. Baba mentioned that the board too late has not been placed yet. So Om Shanti, the spiritual father, gives you spiritual children directions in this spiritual school.
रूहानी पाठशाला में डायरेक्शन देते हैं, वह ऐसे कहें
Or
बच्चों को ड्रिल सिखलाते
it can be said that he teaches you children drill,
जैसे टीचर डायरेक्शन देते हैं,
just as teachers give directions and teach drill.
ये रूहानी
This
बाप भी
spiritual
बच्चों
father also tells you children directly.
कहते हैं
This spiritual father also tells you children directly.
मन मना,
What does he tell you? Man manabhav.
जैसे वह कहते हैं
Just as they say, attention please.
मन मना भव,
Father says, man manabhav.
बाप कहते हैं मन मना भव,
This is like each one being merciful towards the self.
बाप ने कहा मन मना भव, वो कहते हैं,
Father
अपने
says,
ऊपर मेहर कर,
man manabhav. This is like each one being merciful towards the self. Father says, children, constantly remember me alone, become bodiless.
ये रूहानी ड्रिल, रूहों को रूहानी बाप सिखलाते हैं.
Only the spiritual father teaches you spirits this spiritual drill. He is the supreme teacher and you are assistant teachers.
वह सुप्रीम टीचर,
He is the supreme teacher and you are
तुम सबको कहते हो
assistant teachers. You also tell everyone, consider yourself to be a soul and remember the Father. May you be soul conscious.
मन मना भव का अर्थ भी यह
This
है,
is also the meaning of
डायरेक्शन
Man
देते
Manabhav.
हैं बच्चों के कल्याण
He
के.
gives directions for the benefit of the children.
बाप कुछ से सीखा नहीं है ये,
He himself has not studied with anyone.
और तो सब टीचर्स खुद सीख करके फिर सिखलाते हैं.
This one has not studied in any school,
ये तो कहाँ
etc.
स्कूल में पढ़ करके सीखा नहीं है. शिव बाबा कहाँ से सीखा है?
As Shiva Baba studied somewhere. Baba says,
ये सब सिखलाते
this
हैं.
one hasn't studied in any
कहते हैं, मैं
school,
तुम
etc.
लोगों को
He only
रूहानी ड्रिल
teaches you.
सिखाता हूँ.
He says, I teach you spirits,
वह सब जिस्मानी
spiritual
बच्चों
drill.
को जिस्मानी ड्रिल
All
सिखलाते
other
हैं.
All others teach physical drill to physical
दोनों को
children.
ड्रिल आदमी शरीर से ही करनी होती है.
They have to perform the drill with a physical
इसमें तो
body.
शरीर की कोई बात ही नहीं है.
Here, there is no question of a body.
खुद शरीरियत करते हमको भी ऐसे करोगे. शरीर की बात ही नहीं है.
There is no
बाप
question of a
कहते
body.
मेरा कोई शरीर नहीं है.
Father
मैं तो
says,
ड्रिल सिखलाता
I
हूँ.
don't have a body. I simply teach
डायरेक्शन
drill
देता हूँ.
and give you directions.
उनमें ड्रिल सिखलाने का ड्रामा प्लान अनुसार पाठ भरा हुआ है.
According to the drama plan, he has the part of teaching drill recorded in him. This service is recorded in him.
आते ये ड्रिल सिखलाने.
He just comes to teach the drill.
जब बाबा आता है तो फिर क्या करता है?
When Baba comes, what does he do? He teaches the drill.
तुमको तमो प्रधान से सतो प्रधान बनना.
You have to change from Tamopradhan to Satopradhan.
ये तो बहुत सहज.
This is very easy.
सीरी बुद्धि में है.
You have the ladder in your
ऐसे
intellect.
84 का चक्र
You know
नीचे
how you
उतरे
went
हैं.
around the cycle of 84 births and came down.
बाप कहते हैं तो वापस
Father says, you now have to return home.
ऐसे और कोई भी अपने फॉलोअर्स को या स्टूडेंट को नहीं कहेंगे.
No one else would say to his followers or students, spiritual children, you now have to return home.
सवै रूहानी बाप के कोई समझाए
No
ना
one except the spiritual father can explain this.
बच्चे समझते हैं.
You children understand
अभी हमको
that you
वापस
now
जाना है.
have to return home.
बच्चे समझते हैं.
You children
इसको
understand.
लगा आपको जाना है, घर जाना है, घर जाना है. इसमें हाथ तो उठाओ.
Raise your hands. Those who have understood fully that you have now to return back home.
यहाँ से कोई लगाव नहीं. कोई
That you don't have any attachment here in this world. Raise your hand.
जाना है.
That you have to go back home now.
कहेंगे घर जाना है
As if your eyes are closed and you have to go back home. How to go back home. Surya Bhai, did you listen to Baba's Murli? One Murli which said that how to return home, how to go back home. Full Murli was about that. So the Father says you have now to return home. The world is now Tamopradhan. We were the masters of the Satopradhan world, and now, having gone around the cycle of 84 births, we have now become the masters of the Tamopradhan world. There is nothing but sorrow here. Father is called the remover of sorrow and the bestower of happiness. That is, it is only one who makes the Tamopradhan ones Satopradhan. You children understand that you experienced a lot of happiness. You don't remember how you ruled the kingdom, but your aim and objective is in front of you. That is the garden of flowers. You are now changing from thorns into flowers. Here you listen through translation, and in your particular specific countries, you listen directly. Are you not tired? Which one do you prefer? The translation or direct language? Which one do you prefer? Is that one easy or this one easy? Raise your hand. Those who say this translation is easier, but it is good. Raise your hands. Those who fail, that you prefer through translation. And if it is in your own language, raise your hands. Those who prefer to get, whether it is English or French or any other language, specific language. In both hands, you raise your hands. That is asking whether you prefer to have translation or direct, your own language. So those who listen in the atmosphere of Madhavan, so they are happy. So when your aim and objective is in front of you, that is the garden of flowers. We are now changing from thorns into flowers. You would not ask how to develop faith. You would not ask how to develop faith. If you have any doubts, you are led to destruction. When you step away from this school, your study stops. When you step away from this school, your study stops. Then your status is destroyed, and that is a great loss. Your status will become very low, even among the subjects. The main thing is to become Satopradhan, worthy of worship deities. You are not deities now. You Brahmins have now received understanding. Only Brahmins come and study this drill from the Father. Internally, you also have happiness. You like this study, do you not? These are the versions of God. Although they inserted Krishna's name, you understand that Krishna did not teach drill. Only the Father teaches this. He is also teaching the Krishna soul who became Tamopradhan while adopting different names and forms. Father himself never learns this. Everyone else definitely learns from someone or other. This one is the spiritual father who teaches you. He teaches you, and you then teach others. You became impure by taking 84 births, and you now have to become pure. For this, remember the spiritual father. On the path of devotion, you have been singing, "Oh Purifier." Even now, you can go anywhere and see how this is being done. You are Raj Rishis. You can go everywhere in the whole world, around. When you come here, you see Raj Rishis sitting. You can go and travel anywhere. You don't have any bondage. Your children have the faith that the unlimited Father has come to serve you. How could the Father take any fees from children for this study? If a teacher's child is his student, he would teach him free. This one also teaches you free. Don't think that you are giving something. These are not fees. You don't give anything. You are taking a lot in return. People give donations and perform charity because they feel that they will receive the return of that in the next birth. They receive temporary happiness. Although they do receive something in their next birth, they receive it in a birth in which they are descending. They continue to come down the ladder. Whatever you are doing now is for going into the ascending stage. Whatever you are doing now, whatever you did on the path of devotion, you went through the descending stage. Baba says, whatever you are doing now is for going into the ascending stage. People speak about the fruit of karma. Souls receive the fruit of karma. Even Lakshman Narayan also received the fruit of their karma. Did they not? You receive unlimited fruit from the unlimited Father. The other is received indirectly. This is fixed in the drama. This too is the predestined drama. You know that you will claim your inheritance from the unlimited Father after a cycle. Father sits here and creates a school for us. Father sits here and creates a school for us. That government has worldly schools where you have been studying in many different ways for half the cycle. Father is now teaching you in order to remove all your sorrow for 21 births. There it is the kingdom. Everyone there is number-wise. Just as here, all are number-wise. You have kings, queens, advisors, subjects, etc. This is the old world. There will be very few people in the new world. There will be a lot of happiness there. You are becoming the masters of the world. The emperors and kings have been and gone. People celebrate with so much happiness. However, Father says, they still have to fall down. Everyone has to fall. The degrees of the deities also gradually decrease. But because the kingdom of Ravan does not exist there, there is nothing but happiness there. Here it is the kingdom of Ravan. Just as you ascend, so you also fall down. Souls adopt various names and forms and descend. According to the drama plan, souls have fallen and become tamopradhan exactly as they did in the previous cycle. All sorrow begins when they climb onto the pyre of lust. There is now extreme sorrow. There will be extreme happiness. Your Raj Rishis. Theirs is Hatha Yoga. Ask anyone whether they have the knowledge of the Creator or the beginning, middle and end of creation. And they will reply that they don't. Only those who understand this can ask others. How could someone who doesn't know this himself ask anyone else? You know that none of the rishis or munis, etc., were Trikaldarshi. The Father is making us Trikaldarshi. So when Baba explains such things and we churn about those things, then there is no other concern in our intellect. There is change in our own self.
बाबा जो विश्व का मालिक था, इन जो ये ब्रह्मा बाबा विश्व का मालिक था, उनको भी ये ज्ञान नहीं था.
This Baba, who was the master of the world, did not have this knowledge. Even in this birth, he did not have this knowledge until the age of 60. Even when the Father came, it was only gradually that he continued to speak a little knowledge at a time. Even though many develop very firm faith in the intellect, Maya continues to make them fall. Even though many develop very firm faith in the intellect, Maya continues to make them fall. Baba cannot tell you their names, otherwise they could become disheartened. Baba receives all the news. Sometimes they keep bad company. Sometimes they have the company of someone who is newly married and there is disturbance. Then they say that they cannot stay without getting married. Someone who was a good Maharathi, who used to go to class every day, and who has even been here to Madhavan several times, was caught by Maya, the alligator. Many such cases continue to take place. They are not married as yet, but Maya has put them in her mouth and he is slowly swallowing them. So Baba says they are not married as yet, but Maya has put them in her mouth and is slowly swallowing them. Maya, in the form of a woman, pulls him. He has fallen into the mouth of the alligator. Then, gradually, he will completely swallow him. Some make mistakes, or there is mischief caused just on seeing someone. Mistakes mean when you go in bad company, they also understand that they will fall deep into the pit from up above. Then it would be said that that child was very good, but now the poor, helpless thing has had it. As soon as he becomes engaged, he dies. So Baba would have the hope that he would cancel his program, his plan, and come back. So Baba says, So the father constantly writes to the children, may you always remain alive. Make sure that you are not very forcefully attacked by Maya. Some of these things are mentioned in the scriptures. The things of the present are remembered later. You must not continue to inspire them to make effort. You must continue to inspire them to make effort. It should not be that Maya, the alligator, swallows them. Maya catches hold of them in many different ways. The main one is lust, the greatest enemy of which you have to remain very cautious. You can see how the impure world is becoming pure. There is nothing to be confused about in this. By simply considering yourself to be a soul and remembering the Father, all your sorrow will be removed. Only the Father is the purifier. This is the power of yoga. The ancient Raj Yoga of Bharat is very well known. They believe that 3,000 years before Christ there was paradise. So there definitely could not have been any other religions. This is such an easy aspect, and yet they don't understand it. You know that the Father has now come once again to establish that kingdom. Shiva Baba also came 5,000 years ago. He must definitely have given the same knowledge that he is giving now. Just as he is giving now. Father himself says, I come every cycle at the confluence age in an ordinary body to teach you Raj Yoga. You are Raj Rishis. You were not that before. You are Raj Rishis now. You were not that before. You have been staying with Baba ever since Baba came. You are studying and also doing service. Physical service and subtle service. On the path of devotion too, people do service and also take care of the household. Father says, devotion has now come to an end and knowledge has begun. I come to grant you salvation through knowledge. It is in your intellect that Baba is purifying you. Father says, according to the drama, I have come to show you the path. The teacher is teaching you, and your aim and objective is in front of you. This is the highest on high study. He continues to explain to you the things he explained in the previous cycle. The drama continues to tick away. It is so good, the ticking of drama. Everything that happens second by second will continue to repeat every 5,000 years. When you sit and see whatever is past, drama is going on. Why this has happened, why this like this or that like that. You remain at peace with yourself and sit and chant about this. Days continue to pass by. These thoughts don't enter the intellect of anyone else. The golden, silver, copper and iron ages have now gone by, and they will then repeat. Same things that passed in the previous cycle are now passing. Such a deep point about the drama. Same things that passed in the previous cycle are now passing. Only a few more days remain. Those people speak of hundreds of thousands of years. In comparison with that, you would say that only a few more hours remain.
आग लग जाएंगी ना तब
This
जाके
too is fixed in the drama. When everything is set on fire,
तो too late हो
people will wake up at the time.
जो
It will
पाप
be too
पुरुषार्थ
late.
कराते रहते
Therefore,
तैयार
the
हो
Father
बैठे
continues to inspire you to make effort.
टीचर को ऐसा न कहना
Just
पड़े अभी
sit
तो
fully
हो गया
prepared. The teacher should not have to tell you that it is
आप कहते हैं
too
आप
late.
नापास होने वाले
Those who
बहुत होशियार
fail
हैं।
repent a great deal.
समझते हैं
They
हमारा
feel
मुफ्त
that they have wasted their
सारा
whole
वर्ष
year.
चला गया। कोई तो कहते हैं,
Some
"न
say,
पढ़ा तो क्या हुआ?"
what does it matter if I don't study?
तुम बच्चों को स्ट्रिक्ट
Your
रहना
children
चाहिए।
must remain very
हम
strict.
तो बाप
I
से
will
पूरा
claim the
वर्षा लेंगे।
full inheritance from the Father.
वर्षा लेने का क्या करना है फिर? अपने को
Consider
आत्मा
yourself
धन
to be a
बाप को
soul and remember the Father.
याद। इसमें
If there is any difficulty about this,
कोई तकलीफ होती है,
you can ask the Father.
बाबा को याद
This is the
करो,
main thing.
तो बाप से पूछ सकते हो।
If you have any difficulty in that,
ये
you can
मुख्य
ask the
बात
Father.
है।
This is the main thing.
बाप ने आज
Father
से
also
5,000
told you
वर्ष
5,000
पहले
years
भी
ago,
कहा था, माँ को,
constantly
माँ ने
remember
कब
me
याद
alone.
पतित
I
पावन
am
मैं
the
हूँ।
purifier.
सबका बाप
I am
मैं
the
ही हूँ।
Father of all.
पतित पावन मैं हूँ।
I am
सबका
the
बाप
purifier.
मैं हूँ।
I am the Father of all.
कृष्ण तो सभी का
Krishna
बाप
is
नहीं
not
है।
the Father of all.
तो शिव के
You can
कृष्ण के
give this
पुजारियों
knowledge to the
विज्ञान
worshippers
सुनाए
of Shiv and Krishna.
आत्मा
If
जो
souls
पूज्य नहीं
have
बनी
never
होगी,
been,
संकल्प
if
है।
souls have never
कितना भी
become
माथा
worthy
मारो,
of
सुनेंगे
worship,
नहीं।
then no matter how much you beat your head,
समझाओ, ये नहीं समझता है।
they will not understand.
अभी नास्तिक बनते हैं, शायद आगे चला आस्तिक भी बन जाए।
They are now atheists. Perhaps in the future they may become theists. For instance, someone may get married and fall and will then come and take knowledge. However, his inheritance will be very much reduced because he has the remembrance of someone else in his intellect. It is very difficult to remove that. First, there is the remembrance of his wife, and then that of his children. There will be the pull towards the wife even more than towards his children, because that remembrance has been there for a long time. The children come later. Then there is also the remembrance of friends, relatives, and in-laws, etc. So the children come later. Then there is the remembrance of friends, relatives, and in-laws, etc. Baba said, consider yourself to be a soul, and you leave that. So you remember your friends, relatives, and in-laws, etc. First is the wife who has been the companion for a long time. It is the same here. You say that you have been with the deities for a long time. In that case, you should also say that you have had a great deal of love for Shiv Baba for a long time. We were with the deities in Golden Age. He also made us pure 5,000 years ago. He comes and protects us every cycle. And this is why he is called the remover of sorrow and the bestower of happiness. You have to have a very clear line. How to have a very clear line. Father says, whatever you can see with your eyes is to be buried in the graveyard. What is there in this world? So Baba says, you are now at the confluence age. The land of immortality is going to come. We are now making effort to become the most elevated human beings. This is the most elevated auspicious, benevolent age. This is the most elevated, auspicious, benevolent age. You can see what is happening in the whole world outside. Father has now come. Therefore, the old world has to be destroyed. As you make further progress, many will become aware of this. Definitely someone who is changing the world has come. They will become aware of this. That definitely someone who is changing the world has come. This is that same Mahabharata war. You are becoming so sensible. These things have to be deeply churned. You must not waste your breath. You must not waste your breath. You know that every breath becomes worthwhile through knowledge. Acha, मीठे मीठे, say everybody, मीठे मीठे, सिके लदे बच्चों प्रति, माता पिता, बाप दादा का याद प्यार, गुड मॉर्निंग. रूहानी बाप की रूहानी बच्चों को नमस्ते. रूहानी बच्चों की रूहानी बाप को नमस्ते. Essence for inculcation. First point, in order to remain safe from Maya, be very cautious about the company you keep. In order to remain safe from Maya, be very cautious about the company you keep. Keep a very clear line. Keep a very clear line. Don't waste your breath. Don't waste your breath, but make it worthwhile with knowledge. But make it worthwhile with knowledge. Second point, whatever time you have available, practice performing spiritual drill to accumulate the power of yoga. Whatever time you have available, practice performing spiritual drill to accumulate the power of yoga. Don't create any new bondages now. Don't create any new bondages now. Blessing is, may you become a true embodiment of tapasya, who has renounced all limited desires. May you become a true embodiment of tapasya, who has renounced all limited desires. Renounce all limited desires and become a true embodiment of tapasya. An embodiment of tapasya means to be an embodiment of ignorance of any knowledge of desire. An embodiment of tapasya means to be an embodiment of ignorance of any knowledge of desire. Those who think of taking, take for a temporary period and lose for all time. Those who think of taking, take for a temporary period and lose for all time. The main thing that becomes an obstacle to becoming a tapasvi are limited desires. The main thing that becomes an obstacle to becoming a tapasvi are limited desires. Therefore, now give the proof of becoming an embodiment of tapasya. That is, renounce any desire of receiving limited respect or honor and become a bestower of fortune. When the sanskars of a bestower of fortune emerge, all other sanskars will automatically merge. Slogan is, to have a subtle desire for the fruit of action is to eat the fruit before it is ripe. To have a subtle desire for the fruit of action is to eat the fruit before it is ripe. Have to have a little patience. Let the fruit to be ripe before you eat it. That is the weakness of the intellect. Om Shanti.